Hello and welcome to Visiting Dugout. You know me, I'm Chrystal O'Keefe. Today I have my good pal Michael on to chat about the Royals. It's been a while, so Michael, maybe reintroduce yourself.
Yeah, I do a podcast called Royal Deluxe, which is also on the Fans First Sports Network, and I also write to a website called farmtofountains.com, which is a good place to get written coverage and analysis about the Royals, especially on the minor league side of things, which had some more interesting things going on up until very, very recently. So,
I was about to say we'll have to discuss a recent update here in a second.
mm-hmm.
Well, obviously, thank you for joining.
Yeah, of course.
So, what's new with the Royals?
Well, they just called up Jac Caglianone, who is, of course, our top prospect. He was drafted sixth overall last year, so he hasn't even been a pro for a year yet, but he had such a great spring training and such an amazing career through such an amazing run through the minors that and also the Royals offense has been pretty terrible for most of the season. So they figured now's the time, might as well do it, and yeah, so he was playing in the Cardinal series, got his first hit today, and there's another game going on in about like 30 minutes or so. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's already he has already rejuvenated this Royals team. I think everyone's a lot happier, a lot more excited. We got the first game against the Cardinals with a 5-run comeback in the middle of it. So there's a lot. It's a lot of fun right now.
Yeah, I was watching the video earlier. A ton of people, not even like Royals people, just a ton of people I know were posting that video of his first hit today, and that's
Mm.
always so exciting to watch. I love it so much. Our like rookie who just came back up, Tim Elko, hit the walk-off
Mm.
single to win today.
Yeah.
It's been a fun game for the young guys.
Yeah, I heard about that. Saw that you guys won a series against the Tigers. Good job. See,
Wild.
I always say, I'm actually going to say, one thing that I contribute to is the weekly power rankings on r/baseball, and it's an aggregate of 30 different people, one representing each team. And I was going into the season, I was the only person who did not have the White Sox ranked 30th. I was willing to stick up for you guys and say the White Sox are not going to be the worst team in baseball this year. Granted, I didn't say that for the Rockies either. I thought the Marlins would be the worst team, although the Marlins just got swept by the Rockies.
I
So,
was about to say, you're
so
not far off.
I feel like I was kind of right in a way, but yeah, I was willing to believe the White Sox would be a much better team this year. I'm always telling Royals fans like, look, don't go into a White Sox series expecting an easy sweep. You can't do that to these guys. You have no idea when they're going to suddenly win a game
Hmm.
and surprise you like that. Like the guy who the last series we played, Chase Meidroth, got hit in the face
Yeah.
by a pop up, and that was obviously the funniest thing that ever happened. But
Yeah.
that's a good player right there. That is
Yeah.
not like he's still around and he's good.
He
So
he had an excellent game today. Now I have to go back because I put him in my poll for MVP. Let me double check what his end of the day was today. Because yeah, he is good. He's a lot of fun.
mhm.
Yeah, he had 2 hits and an RBI, and he managed to pick up 3 different walks.
Nice.
So
Yeah, good
yeah,
for
no,
him.
he's fun. My husband joked with me. My husband has kind of checked out of White Sox baseball. I can't really say that I blame him. He kind of
Yeah.
checked out during the Tony La Russa years and has been hesitant to dive back in. And he sent me a picture of Chase, and he was like, "If you told me that this was AJ Perninsky's nephew, I would believe you." And I was like, "No, actually, I completely see that." And he kind of plays with an like for being such a young guy, he kind of plays with like a fun AJ attitude,
That's good.
and I think he's fun. He's been a lot of fun to watch. Like I said, he's been doing great. He's not gonna make it the All Stars. There's all this talk. They're like, oh, he's gonna be like the only player that makes it. And it's like he's not that good. Let's settle
Mhm.
down. But he's fun. He's a lot of fun. He
Sure.
gets on base, and that's what I need from a player.
Who do you think the All Star rep for the White Sox would be? Because I put in Miguel Vargas for my ballot.
That that wouldn't surprise me too much if he does make it. I think it's going to be a pitcher, and I think it's going to be Shane Smith.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Ooh, you won't. Or wait, do you see him? You do see. You will see Shane Smith this series.
Nice.
He has been excellent, and
Is that sorry? Is that the guy you got from the Rule 5 draft?
yes.
Okay, yeah, that's the one that I remember. Yeah, and one thing that I felt confident in with you guys, and the big reason why I believed you wouldn't be the worst team, and why I thought you would be significantly better, even if you're still on pace for like 110 losses, that's still a lot better than last year. But I kind of like what you're doing with your pitching. I kind of believe in. I mean, not that I think that there's like a lot of ace upside or anything, but just decent pitching for a full season will go a long way. That will carry a team through a lot of games, and so I did believe in guys like Jonathan Cannon and some of your other rotational pieces that came up last year. It's like this team doesn't have horrible pitching, I don't think, and that's good.
Yeah, surprisingly, and again, I feel like I say this in so many of these podcasts now. This team lost 6 different pitchers to Tommy John from spring training.
Mm.
So we didn't have much. So it is all on the backs of these, first and second year guys, which
Mm-hmm.
looking at that on paper, that's scary as hell. You're not
Yeah.
wanting to go into a season after a record-breaking losing season with all these young guys, but they have honestly been great. I can't really complain too much about our pitching rotation right now.
Yeah. It's a good sign.
Yeah. So back to the Royals, how would you kind of rate what they did in the off season?
Ooh, our off season was not great. I'd give it like a B minus C plus kind of. We did because we didn't need to do too much. We needed to address the fact that we didn't have a true leadoff hitter, and we got that in Jonathan India, who a lot of people will say has not been doing a whole lot, and I kind of agree. But he at least gets on base. That's the main thing, and he's always been a summer month hitter kind of guy. Like he's always been a slow starter, so we're already starting to see him hit a lot more. So I think that was great. We extended Michael Waka, which is something I wanted them to do. Traded Brady Singer, I wanted them to do that. Got a real closer in Carlos Estevez, which I wanted to do. But we didn't get any kind of premium power bat. They didn't really address the outfield, which was a huge problem last year. So, and for what it's worth, you can kind of look at how the market turned out and what happened with a lot of guys that signed, and it wouldn't have helped us. Like we were in the running for Anthony Santander, almost signed him. Kind of glad we didn't sign him now. Jurickson Profar was another guy that a lot of people wanted. Kind of glad we don't have him. I really wanted Ha-Seong Kim. He wouldn't be helping us right now. It's just there were a lot of options that were attractive in the offseason, and we didn't get any of them. And so that's being looked at as a huge problem for our offense not being very productive, just not having much power in the lineup in general. So yeah, that's a loss for us, but it's not the end of the world.
Well, that's good. I mean, I guess it's better to address some problems.
Yeah.
Versus none at all. So with that said, though, how are you feeling? I mean, we're in June now. So how are you feeling about this season? Because the AL Central, oddly enough, has shown a lot of strength, which is wild because this is typically like the worst division you could find, but it's kind of a not for the White Sox, but it's kind of, a fair game.
Yeah, the Power Four
teams.
Yeah, the Power Four are back. I don't think anybody expected the Tigers to be as good as they are. Like they're the best team in baseball practically right now. But also dropped a series to you guys, so haha. So I'm kind of looking at the division thinking it's probably not winnable at this point, especially because we already lost both of our series against the Tigers. So we've had our chances to do something with them, and we failed. But as for like the Royals themselves, I'm still confident in them. Like I still think this is going to be a playoff team. I still think this is going to at least repeat the 86 win campaign they had last season. It's been off to a slow start, obviously because of the lack of offense, but our pitching has been so tremendous that it has really carried us through this season to this point. So, and I think that the offense is just going to get naturally better as time goes on. Anyway, whether it's luck regressing, some guys hitting better in hotter months, or also just getting better bats at the deadline, which I do believe will happen. Like our farm system improved last year despite buying at the deadline, and even with Jack getting promoted, it's still a better farm system than it was last year. So I think the Royals are in a position to get a legit premium bat at the deadline when the time comes.
Looking through like an analytical lens, do you think the Tigers are sustainable with this lead? I mean, they're still pretty far up there.
Yeah, they've built a really good cushion for themselves at this point. It's hard to say because the reasons why the Tigers are so good are big surprises. Like this is what I thought the Tigers would be in 2022 when Spencer Torkelson and Javi Baez were coming into that team, and it's like then they were bad, and now they're good suddenly. So okay. I don't entirely know what's going on with their pitching, but their lineup seems so deep that it's a challenge. It's a threat. I do think that they'll probably I don't know. I think it'll be closer than it is now at the end of the day, but I wouldn't be surprised if they stay on through it all.
I saw so many Tiger fans complaining about every little thing, especially yesterday. I mean, their pitching is perfectly fine, and they were up like 10-1, and they were people that were like, "Oh my God, Jack Flaherty sucks," and I'm like, "You're up 10-1," and that one came after he was out of the game. Like, I want to have those first world problems that you have right now as a Tigers fan. Like, I would just kill for that right now. So shut up.
Absolutely. Yeah, I always say every team, every fan base thinks that their manager is the absolute worst when it comes to bullpen management and needs to be fired after every single loss. So I've definitely been there.
It's brutal. All right, well, we'll take a quick break, and then we'll break out into this series and see what's going on.
Right on.
All right, and we are back. So let's first get into these pitching matchups. We've got our first game is Seth Lugo versus Davis Martin. Second, Michael Wacha and Adrian Hauser. And then the third game is Michael Lorenzen and Shane Smith. I was looking, kind of judging on where they're at, their ERAs, their strikeouts, and everything that you can find. These are incredibly even matchups, maybe except for the last one where Shane Smith might actually be the better pitcher for a change, which again, Shane Smith is great.
Yeah.
But what can you tell me about what we're going to see from this Royals lineup of pitching?
So our pitching is kind of the same as it was last year, where these guys, they know how to throw strikes. They're efficient in their outings, so they're reliable to go 6+ innings every single start. Lugo, it's interesting because Lugo, like if you look at his numbers, they don't seem as good as they were last year, especially like some of the expected numbers. That's kind of because he's had a couple of starts where he just got hit really hard. Like he had 5 home runs hit against the Yankees back in Yankee Stadium in like April or something. So that's inflated some of his bad numbers. Plus, he's just now coming back from a finger injury. So his first start back didn't go so well, and it was very short. So hopefully this will be like the first actual start with Seth Lugo healthy this time around. And, I agree that Lorenzen is probably outmatched by Shane Smith, and we're already... it's already a hot topic among the Royals community that he probably shouldn't be in this rotation any longer. Yeah, well, we've got this guy Noah Cameron who came up and he just threw another start today, and in 5 starts he has an ERA of .85. So he's just been excellent, and Lorenzen has been scuffling. His last couple of starts were pretty bad. So this might be his last start for a while if we kind of have it our way.
Wild. That's some interesting, some good tea. Sorry, so you mentioned that Yankees series. I almost went to one of those games. I almost went to the last game of that series because I was in New York
Oh.
when they were there, and I was my flight was so delayed that day getting in. It was supposed to be like we can catch the last game of this series for the Yankees, and then they're gone, and then we're there perfectly in time for the Mets, but we were going to go to that series, but the last time I went to Yankee Stadium, it was also against the Royals, and I was like, I can't do this to myself. I'm not suffering this matchup again. No offense to you, but I was like, I can't do this. So thankfully, my plane was very delayed. So
You would have watched the Royals lose. We got swept in that series. So.
Well, see, I don't know which I would prefer because I really hate the Yankees.
That's fair.
I would almost prefer the people, at least in the Central Division. So I don't know. Tough call. But yeah, so again, these are pretty fairly matched. I will say Davis Martin has been a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
He's another one of those pitchers that I'm really kind of high on right now. And like in our Southside Sox Slack, even where there are like 4 of us that are aboard the Davis Martin hype train that we created. So those will be really good pitching matchups. I'm going to try to go see Davis Martin since he is my guy, but I will be there for the Waka Hauser game. So I'm pumped about that.
Nice.
So moving on, and this could still be a pitcher, but who is the biggest threat to this White Sox team right now?
In terms of pitching or hitting?
Either one.
Well,
Whoever just
hitting is
threat.
hitting would probably be Bobby again. Bobby is still actually Bobby's been in a slump lately, so it's kind of funny that like an 830 or OPS or something is seen as like a low point for him. It's actually Michael Garcia who's been kind of our best hitter overall this season, and finally the Royals have been batting him third. For this Cardinals series, so we might be getting more production out of him. So yeah, I'd look out for Michael Garcia. He's been a pretty clutch hitter. He's just a fast guy who hits the ball everywhere, hits for power a little bit every now and then. Plays basically every position at this point. So he's kind of been doing it all for us.
So in that vein, what are the keys for the Royals to take this series?
I would say just try to stay on top of your pitchers. Like that's the main thing, and also just I guess play better fundamental baseball. That's usually like where the team excels in the margins. They just play it their way, wait for the other team to make mistakes. And no offense, but we are going up against an inexperienced team, so that might be expected. But again, I would say that we should hopefully have a good game plan against your pitchers. That would be the thing that would block us the hardest, because again you got a really respectable staff. So, and we are a team that does not walk. It also doesn't strike out either. So we put the ball in play a lot. So if your defense can stay on top of that, that would go a long way for you guys. And if they can just throw strikes and make us not do a whole lot, that would also go a long way for you guys.
Fair. So with that, what are the fears that you might have heading into the series? Because I know you mentioned before, you tell Royals fans yourselves, the White Sox are kind of rogue. They can be a rogue team. So with that being said, what are you concerned about going into this?
I'd just be concerned if we were to lose 2 of 3. That would obviously not be great, because we've been scuffling a little bit. It's been a while since our last series win. I think we've lost the last 4 series in a row, pending this Cardinals series. It's going to wrap up today, and it's in a split. So we are kind of going into this hoping that this will be a bit of a bounce back series, and if that doesn't happen, then we might have some concerning discussions on the way, and of course that's going to be a whole lot of fun. And I guess I'm just worried that I'm worried if that maybe Seth Lugo might not be at 100% still, and Lorenzen might still not have it together even against this lineup, because we've already been working our bullpen pretty hard for this Cardinals series, and we're playing a doubleheader today. We already used 5 pitchers for the first game. So, we might be going into this weekend with a taxed bullpen, and also our best relievers on the IL right now. And I don't think he's coming back this weekend.
So, moving away from our teams, I love to just get a feel of where you're at with baseball in general. Like again, this is your hot takes or your lukewarm takes, or just what you're noticing more than anything.
Lately, I don't entirely know. Just that the AL is really packed together in a way that I didn't quite expect. There aren't a whole lot of like surprise or disappointing teams, in my opinion, anyway. Like, it's a national story that the Orioles are really bad. I expected the Orioles to be bad. I went into the season like their number two's Charlie Morton. They're not going anywhere, bro. That's not a rotation that's gonna work. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I really haven't been too surprised, except for the Tigers, I guess. And of course, they have to just ruin everyone's day by being the best.
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I've got for you. This is short and sweet, so I appreciate your time, though.
Yeah.
Obviously, best of luck in this series. It should be a fun one. I do enjoy these kind of rivalry series a lot more.
Oh yeah, and like I do try to be a good sport, which is why I say like I will stick up for the White Sox every now and then. But even like when you guys are in the period that you're in where everything's really bad, I'm just like on one hand I'm laughing because again rival team, but at the same time it's like, come on guys, get it together. I want to beat you guys when you're actually good. I don't want to. Like last year it just felt like bullying, to be completely honest with you. It was just humiliating watching this.
It did.
So yeah, hopefully we can just play some real baseball and just get have some good games together.
Yeah, now we're all just bullying the Rockies. Although they just swept the Marlins. Oh, actually, that reminds me. I don't know if you do the TikTok scene or if you've just seen this, but there's the woman who has claimed that in second grade she cursed the Rockies, and she has like continued to curse the Rockies because she was the only person that didn't get a letter back from them. Like her whole class sent letters to different baseball teams, and she's the only one that didn't get a letter back, and she had the Rockies. Wow. And so she like cursed them. I mean, I don't know how old she is, but I mean, she's a grown adult now. And she was joking. She was like, well, maybe I'll forgive them if they write back, like flirting with the idea of forgiving them. And then they like won their first game, and like they finally won their 10th game of the season, and then they swept the Marlins. She was like, look how powerful I am.
That's incredible.
So I fully support like witchcraft woo-woo in baseball. Clearly the Rockies are at the center of that right now. But yeah, it isn't fun when you're just beating up on bad teams. So
how do you feel about the Rockies immediately taking away the loss record from you guys? And likely shattering it by a significant margin.
I know they're already way worse than we were last season, which is wild because I didn't think that could happen.
Yeah.
And there is this part of me that feels bad because, like I said, it's not fun to be that bad. And I feel for the fans. I feel for their players. Like I feel horrible for these people. But at the same time, I'm like, get us out of the spotlight. But then there's this other like double-edged sword where I'm just like, but I wanted Jerry to know how bad the team was. Like I want Jerry Reinsdorf to pay for his sins kind of thing. So I'm just really conflicted on the Rockies potentially taking this record because I wanted Jerry to live with that for a little bit longer. Like I wanted him to go the rest of his life knowing how bad the White Sox were. So I don't know. It's just one of those things where I'm like, I'll be happy when we're not the center of attention for being so bad like that. But at the same time, I'm just like, you owe us.
Hey, Jerry Reinsdorf, 4 more years. You just got that ownership extension, but at least there's another owner in waiting or something like that.
I guess if that even works out. Who knows if that even works out? That's
Yeah.
the beauty of it. Like that whole thing is just so ridiculous, and I'm trying to like read through it. And I was like, what does this even mean? Like they don't even have to pick it. Like who knows what's going to happen in 4 years? And I think that he's never going to die. I think he sold his soul.
He's gonna live until 110.
He's
And he's
like,
still gonna be running the team.
he's like 89 now.
Yeah.
So, and it's a curse because he also has my basketball team. So
That's right.
it sucks. Sucks to suck. All right. Well, again, thank you so much. Please just remind people where they can find you.
Yeah, so I do a podcast called Royal Deluxe, and I write for a website called farmdefense.com, and I'm on various social media at the MFNKC on Twitter, and also Michael Flux on the Blue Sky Planet. That's where I'm at.
All right. Well, we will chat later. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Always a pleasure.
Bye.
See ya.